Well, one of those things, almost like the Hubad Lubad thing that comes up regularly in questions, this one also comes up so regular, it's just unbelievable, and that is about foot trapping. Foot trapping. Well, what can I say? There's foot trapping and foot sectoring. They're different. They require a different position of your body. You have to neutralize that individual's balance and control the upper body. People say, well, Uncle Jim, how am I going to do all that? I think some of you may already know that. It's just now a problem of incorporating and bringing it all together. You know, multitasking, we might say. Being able to do 2 or 3 things simultaneously rather than 2 or 3 things in 2 or 3 moves. So, the whole idea, let's just start somewhere, you know. If you're looking at foot trapping, you have to get into an art that actually teaches you that. Whether it's a Kung Fu art, a Silat art, Kali, whatever, something that teaches you a version of that. And then, and I'm not talking footwork or stance work. I'm talking particularly an aggressive behavior using your lower body. So we're going to divide that at the belt line. Juru, or waist, the Juru is a waist up. Lanka, waist down. Kuda kuda. So we're looking at footwork, yes, but footwork that does something. Besides just move around. I hop back, I hop forward, I step forward, I cross step and kick. That's just footwork to move around. In this case, our footwork is very aggressive. It is there to do specific tasks and is done simultaneously with whatever else we're doing. And if you can learn that, that's a timing thing, it's how you behave. If you can learn that, your foot traps become a lot easier. This nullification of their balance and force on the upper level. So this could be, you do the Hubad Lubad or something, you do push hands, get them a little off balance. Where's the opportunity for the foot trap? Try to see that. Probably one of the exercises that is very profound, it teaches you a lot, is called Kake Nempal. K-A-K-E N-E-M-P-A-L. Kake Nempal. Now, it's a completely different thing than Kakeuke. That's karate, that's a different term, Japanese. It's just a grip. Kakeuke is a grip in your, like your Goju-Ryu. But this is different. This is Kake Nempal. And it has to do with footwork. So it teaches you the inner and outer sweep, Sapu Luar, Sapu Dalam, the Beset, and all the ways you can do these and how they work together on a pattern, a line. That pattern is a zigzag. That same pattern can be found in Aikido, but just applied in a slightly different way. So it's a zigzag. When you do them together, it's an overlapping, like weave, like a stitch. So when you learn how to do this, this becomes a most miraculous thing. Your lower body now has as much ability as most people's upper body. I've watched people who know this, and they'll kidding around. They'll say, "Watch, I won't use any of my hands. I'll just use my lower body and beat him." And they go out and do that. You know, like in a sparring match. It's amazing, and it catches people off guard. It's something you don't see. One guy said, it looks just like schoolyard tactics, meaning you step on someone's foot and push them down. Well, kind of. Maybe that's a good analogy. But the damage that is done is usually from a foot trap is more than what you could do if you struck that individual or kicked them. Because that just hurts, it leaves a bruise. If you pin someone's foot to the ground and knock them down, it usually breaks their ankle. So it is a pretty hard shot. And there's no way to break fall. It's just an immediate short arc slam to the earth. So foot sectoring, you don't step or stand on anyone's foot. You stand beside it. In actual trap, you can stand on top of that foot, press down on it, pin them to the floor. One is a known effect, the other is usually a surprise effect. The Kakya-Nimpal is usually found in Silat, various forms of Panchak Silat. It can be learned just as a separate drill if you can find a guru who would teach it to you. Many times you will not be taught something like this. Just by asking, you have to become part of the club, go through the path in order to be shown. But some teachers will still show you. And just for that alone, whether you do karate or judo or whatever, wow, this will really help you. I used to play judo in the old days and did competitions and things like this. I wish I'd have known this. I absolutely could have used it to my advantage. It's slick, it's unexpected, once you get it, it's fairly easy to do. It's a chasing art. Much like in the Red Boat Wing Chun, there's a footwork pattern, and it's known as the hunting step. And you say, well, why is that? Because it mimics you hunting something like a small animal, maybe a chicken or something like this. You're running it down. Well, how do you run it down? Well, how do you not be run down? And this is a means of moving, and it absolutely works. It's pretty slick. I've tried it, I've watched it, and I think it's ingenious. Well, Kakya-Nimpal has that ability because it's aggressive, you see. It's not a defensive sort of thing. It's more an aggression that takes over them. So you can do it as a counter, but however you do it, it's an aggressive chasing drill. It is not as beneficial to be done when you're being chased. So as we know, in Kali there is no defense. Everything in Kali is attack. So I would say this is an attacking footwork. And whatever you do, Kakya-Nimpal will enhance that. And yeah, it's a little hard to find information about it. I know that the Guru Plink had some things out on YouTube about it. He has shared knowledge of this. Much power to him. I know Guru Warden has also put out things about this. Much power to him. So there's a few people who have addressed this or shown elements of it. But it is hard to find the entire set, the entire exercise taught to where you see the complete picture. You'd have to, probably actually find an instructor and feel this. But when you do, I think you'll be surprised. So when people ask me about foot trapping, foot sectoring, should I learn it in Tai Chi? Should I learn it? Well, where should I pick this up? I think Silat. That's the easiest place. But you can then employ it wherever you wish. It becomes part of your nature. And then it's ubiquitous, anything you wish to do. So, and yeah, there are Kung Fu styles that do this. I can show you Kung Fu exercises that do very similar things. I can show you how all this works upon the platforms. People say platforms. Yes, the geometric patterns. A square with an X. Sakuram. Sliwa, the patterns, right? On the floor. So I can show you how all this works there with almost any type of stance or footwork you wish. It's baffling, not only physically, but to the mind as well. So those are even, they're related, but they're not part of the Kakya-Nimpal. But they are related. And so all this combines together into this one fine piece of equipment that's now your lower body, your Lanka ability to use as you would a weapon. Not just in the sense of your kicks and things, but things that are so subtle that until they're deployed, it's too late. They're too subtle, they can't be countered. And that's the beauty of this. Now again, foreknowledge is different, but in actual combat, foreknowledge does not exist. There's just that moment. And if your abilities are spontaneous, they're there in the forebrain, they're ready to go, then you've learned your lesson well. And these abilities will not fail you. Any time that I've ever seen anything to do with the advanced lower body thing, It hasn't been the art. It's been user error, meaning that individual just didn't put the time in and it didn't work for them. I did not see it as the art failing, but the individual failing. The vessel was unworthy and could not contain that which had been put in it. It could not mimic what it had been shown, and its mimicry ability was weak, so it couldn't copy, it couldn't do, and thus fail. So we must have our warrior abilities, all, as we say, ducks in a row. And then, tell me something you can't do. All right, I'll let it go at that on the footwork thing. Thanks for listening. I'm Jim Keating. I'll talk to you again.